Hello, I am LovinDeb, and this is my Unbreakable story. I am a 55-year-old domestic abuse survivor. I got married very young. I grew up with a family, parents that I felt did not love me. I don't remember much of my childhood until I got into middle school. I got married at the young age of 16, right before my 17th birthday. My dad signed for me to get married. My mom kicked me out. My parents were going through a divorce. I married, at the time I did not know this, I married a psychopath. So I'm going to share a little bit about my backstory. I grew up with a mom that, she didn't really know how to love us. She didn't know how to love me. She didn't know how to tell me she loved me. She didn't know how to tell me, or she never said she was proud of me. I would hear, I hate you, I wish you would never been born. And that started me on this feeling I was worthless, that I was unlovable. Because what child doesn't need that love from their mother? I needed that, and I didn't get that. And it just led me down this path of feeling worthless. And to come to a place that I am in now, to just be working through all this, allowing myself to feel, opening the doors to my heart. I had closed them for so long. When I found out that I was diabetic, that saved my life, because it started me on this path of healing and opening my mind, my heart, and soul, and learning to love all my flaws. July 1st, 2016, I found out I had type 2 diabetes. And how I got that way was I was an emotional eater. So every time I felt bad, I felt sad, every time I was going through something, I fed those emotions. It really started when I was younger, because I was overly thin as a teenager, and I would get made fun of because I was, flat and I had no shape. I was 5'10", 5'10 and a half. I shrunk a little, but to be made fun of and feel awkward because you're the tallest girl in the class and the thinnest girl, I would just eat those emotions because I would feel so lonely and so depressed. Then I couldn't go to my mom for anything because she was not there for me. She didn't, know how to be there for me. She was not a loving person. I think she had a lot of bitterness and anger within her. So what did I turn to? The only thing that I knew, I didn't grow up in a Christian home or anything like that, so I turned to food. I turned to candy. I would babysit just to go have money to go buy ice cream, and I would eat it for breakfast, and candy bars. Anytime sadness hit, anytime I felt worthless, I would just feed those emotions. I want to keep my story uplifting and positive, so I won't talk about any of that, that I went through with just the physical, mental, and some torture. If you want, you can check out my story at Love What Matters. I shared it. It was published recently, and that was so empowering and freeing to share that part. I realized I was hit with a lot of emotions as I was writing that story, and I was given that time to cry. When my story was published and I got the email, I wanted to run. I wanted to run to the gym. I wanted to get out of the house. I did not want to be here. I wanted to run away from what I was feeling. And I thought, no, I need to get happy now. So I'm going to go jump on my mini trampoline, put my little earbuds in, turned on some meditation music, and I jumped, set that timer for 11 minutes, and I cried the entire time. Tears were just flowing. I was facing my bookshelf, facing the wall. I didn't want anyone to come in here and see me or know that I was crying. I needed to go through this alone. When my timer went off, I sat on my sofa and I asked God, give me the time to just be alone, to go through this. And I sat on that sofa and I cried and I cried. I later realized that night that I was grieving for that 16, 17-year-old girl. I hadn't grieved for her. I hadn't released that. And that was a moment of just allowing myself to just be as I was in that moment. And that was so empowering and so freeing. to finally release that. I think we all have a message, we all have a story, we all have some type of pain or illness or mental, something that's going on with us. And I think by sharing my story, I am hopefully helping someone, and that is my mission, that is my passion, to help people heal. I want people to know that no matter what they've been through, no matter how traumatic their experience was, that they can come to a place of love, a place of forgiveness, and a place of healing. And definitely self-love. Self-love. It took me a while to get to this place of feeling that I am worthy enough to love myself just as I am. You're young and you go through that trauma and you just block everything and you're hiding it and you're just keeping it hidden. As you get older, you don't want to think about those emotions. I would relive the trauma in my mind, and I would get angry and bitter and have hatred in my heart, but I didn't go around sharing or showing that I had been married or abused. Not many people knew, especially any of my friends. Just so much learning of myself through meditation and prayer, and just being in a state of being present and awareness has led me to opening doors to my past, to the pain, and releasing that. I never thought that I would one day be sharing all this stuff. And 2016, 2017, 2018, I lost a lot of weight because I wanted to get fit. I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to do what the doctors thought that I couldn't do, reverse it without medicine, eating clean. And I lost about 70 pounds, and I got to where I looked too thin because I'm about 5'9.5", 5'10", and I just didn't like the way I looked, being that thin. So coming to this place of self-love is I'm learning to love all my flaws and accept myself as I am. It doesn't mean I have to be totally in love with my body, but I need to be in love with what's in here. And that's where I am today. At 55 years old, I'm in a place of loving what's inside. And it took me many, I want to say, I don't even know how many months, and of just this hard work of going through the pain, of going through the past, and opening my mind, heart, and soul, and forgiving myself for never sharing this. I had to forgive myself for just being this victim. I started my spiritual path that God is with me. I feel God so much in nature. I feel this beautiful presence of this love, and sometimes this unconditional love is so beautiful that I cry. Just to be in this place of being able to forgive the people that hurt me has helped me tremendously, because when you're living in your mind and you're living in the past, they are unaware of this. The only person that you're hurting is yourself. I was causing myself to get sick. I had 2 chest x-rays done, and the second chest x-ray, my doctor called me. It was a new doctor, my yearly physical, and she said, you need to get a CAT scan done immediately. Don't put it off. Don't wait. You either have a mass or a enlarged pulmonary gland. We need to go get that looked at right away. So I didn't become filled with fear. I wasn't going to go down that road. Believe me when I say I'm the person that will get filled with fear and worry and just get trapped in my mind. I wasn't going to allow myself to go down that path. I stayed positive. I prayed. I meditated. I pictured a positive outcome. And when I had the CAT scan done, they found nothing. So I believed, and I, pictured God healing me. And indeed, I was healed. So that is just amazing to be able to be in this place of love and forgiveness and healing, that you can actually heal internally and physically, also mentally. Because every time I shared something on YouTube, I would get hit with this, I would just cry on camera, and I would just get hit with this draining for a few days, and sometimes even, a few months, I would just feel down because I was releasing these layers. And there are layers and layers and layers of pain, and you don't even realize that you have all this pain that you had buried, for most of your life. In my case, you don't realize that you have this pain, and to release that is freeing, but you also are releasing a part of yourself. And once you let go of who you thought you were, you are going to grieve. And I was going through this grieving process. I turned to sugar all the time. Anytime I had these feelings of sadness, of joy, of whatever, I turned to sugar, because that's what was my comforter. That's what was my nurturer, because I knew nothing else. I never knew that I had a void inside here from not allowing myself to feel. And to come to a place of feeling is a place of healing. So not only do you go through it and grow through it, you're feeling through this process, and you're being enlightened because you're in a state of awareness. My first husband was very jealous, very controlling. He took away all my friends, as those type of violent people do. The words, "I'll kill you if you ever leave me. I will never let you be with someone else. I'll kill you first." Those words are there, even though you're not with that person anymore. It was so much shame. That's why I never, ever, ever talked about it. There was so much shame. I felt that everything was my fault, so I kept it hidden. I was ashamed that I got married so young. And I get emotional because to come to that place that I can actually release all this and share all this and know that I don't need to be ashamed is empowering, and it's freeing. And it's actually so beautiful and amazing. The journey has been painfully beautiful, because you have to go through that painful part to get to the part of beauty, to get to the part of knowing about yourself. And layers of pain that was just closed. I was not willing to open it. I was not willing to go through it. I didn't even know that I needed to go through it. I've really been working on my worthiness of knowing that I am enough, that knowing I am worthy, because I was created, I believe, for a purpose. Just allowing myself to feel and see these emotions, actually seeing what's going on. It's like almost like you're stepping outside of yourself and you're looking in and you're saying, hey, you still don't feel worthy, or hey, this is still going on. Some ways that help me when I'm feeling anger or sadness, because I don't want to stay in a state of anger or a state of sadness, because it does make me feel sick. So ways that have helped me release that is I allow myself to feel what I'm feeling. If it's me personally, somebody makes me mad or sad, I allow myself to feel it. I don't know how many seconds, minutes, or whatever, but then I will start doing this snap release. So I allow myself to feel it, and then I just start going, release, 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 joy, happiness, peace, now, now, now. And I don't know, it just does. It makes me feel happier. It's like, maybe it's a mind thing where I'm telling myself to release this, and it is released, but it helps me so much. My one word is love. The opposite of what I've received growing up. I think that everyone has a story. I hope that you will join us and share your unbreakable story, because together we are a community making a difference. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to my story. I just made some little cards, so you can follow me on YouTube, Debbie Ortiz, and Instagram at LovinDeb, my journey to self-love. I'm also sharing my weight loss as I work towards losing what I gained and being the best version of me. So have an amazing day.